To most people, this cat is a puma, but it also goes by the names of cougar or mountain lion. However, these cats are only distantly related to lions. They're much more closely related to cheetahs. And while pumas are often found in mountains, they're just as at home in the lowlands. Dense forests, treeless pampas, or deserts. They're among the most versatile of all cats. But just because they're widespread, adaptable and found over most of the Americas, doesn't mean they're easy to see. As recently as 20 years ago, to see a puma anywhere in the wild, for more than a fleeting moment, or far in the distance, was almost impossible. To study pumas by normal observation was out of the question. For centuries, the puma kept its secrets mostly to itself. But recently, a few dedicated scientists and filmmakers, along with modern technology such as camera traps, have allowed us to crack the hardest of nuts: observing pumas in the wild. These rare images are the result of many seasons of work and give us a unique insight into how pumas survive the harsh conditions of a Montana winter. Casey Anderson has spent years trying to get close to pumas, and his efforts have paid off. This is Mama Mo and her cubs. She's given Casey privileged access to her life, as long as he keeps his distance or uses remote cameras. The cubs are a few months old and desperate to go out and study the local wildlife. They need to know what they can eat and what they should avoid. Elk tend to stay away from places where pumas can hide if they possibly can. Bighorn sheep are an option, but are also agile and fast on rocky slopes. Pumas are above all else deer hunters. Here in Montana they have white-tailed deer, as well as the very similar mule deer. Mama Mo likes to hunt at dusk. The low contrast light makes her very hard to see. When the deer are distracted, she can move rapidly towards them. This time, the white-tailed deer escape, and the mule deer wasn't so lucky. This will feed the family for days. Typically, pumas don't leave a kill until everything has gone. But to just focus on one particular cat as a guide to the behavior of such a widely distributed species would be misleading. In the far south of South America, in Chile's Torres del Paine National Park, deer are rare, and pumas hunt a very different kind of animal. The guanaco, a member of the camel family. Here, there are no wolves or other predators, and the pumas can relax in the open. This is a world they can claim as their own. As a testament to their success, there are plenty of giant scavengers whose very existence depends on the cats. These are condors, the biggest vultures in the world. For me, as a naturalist, this is an interesting situation. The guanaco is one of the few camel species that survived the Ice Age extinctions. But this open country grazer wouldn't have been on the menu for pumas in the Ice Age, because once wolves lived here too. Today, the adaptable puma has found a way of surviving on treeless grasslands. A mother can take her cubs into open country in a way that her northern cousins could only dream of. But 2 decades ago, these pumas were just as shy of humans as those in the north. Gradually, the pumas of Torres del Paine have become more and more visible. And now give us an amazing opportunity to see puma behavior close up. We came here at the suggestion of filmmaker Christian Munoz, who's been visiting this place for decades in search of pumas. He knows many of the cats in the area and even watched some of them grow up. They behave naturally when he's close. They feel safe enough to relax in between takes.
Since I came the first time back in the 80s, it wasn't almost impossible to spot a puma. I mean, you can see it, at the top of the hill, and they run away. So later I came back every year, and the pumas started coming more habituated to people.
This is partly to do with an increase in tourism, but also because of the persistence of a few filmmakers, such as Christian. However, if you want to film wild big cat behavior, it's also important that the prey animals are relaxed around humans too. This isn't like filming in Africa, where people on foot would scatter the wildlife. Here, the only thing that upsets guanaco are pumas. When I arrived, I had no idea quite how extraordinary this place was. I was amazed that, having spent months waiting for pumas in other parts of the world, how tolerant these cats were. What I didn't realize is that they had a whole lot more tolerance in store for all of us. The mother puma has the same job as any mother with cubs, teaching her children to hunt, which mostly involves letting them make their own mistakes. In this open country, a herd is no good. They're far too aware. They need a straggler to practice on. Their mother leads the way. Without cover, stealth is essential. She knows how to stay unseen while closing the gap between herself and the guanaco. The cubs are keen students and try to copy their mother by creeping after her. They're making all the right moves. But have yet to realize they're supposed to be invisible. The cubs seem surprised. The guanaco's distinctive alarm call warns others nearby. To the casual observer, this may look like a failed hunt, but in truth it was a valuable lesson for the cubs on the importance of stealth. They'll need at least another year before they're skilled enough to get anywhere near a guanaco. The stragglers find their way back to the herd. Pumas evolved to stalk deer through forests with lots of cover. But on these open grasslands, they're tested to the limit. Guanaco have long necks and sharp eyes. But at night, their vision is less useful. As darkness falls, the guanacos always move to a new location. I wondered whether the pumas tended to do most of their hunting at night. With ultra-sensitive night cameras, we have a chance to see what happens. Like deer and antelope in other parts of the world, the guanacos often gather in open places. And as it gets darker, they all sit down for the night. They stay still and completely silent. Presumably, this makes it harder for predators to find them. The puma needs to find a herd before it's too dark. Despite her superb night vision, the guanacos can be very hard to see, unless they're moving. It is a real game of cat and mouse. The guanaco's main plan is to basically sit down somewhere very quietly and don't move all night, which makes them extremely hard for the pumas to find. To help us see what's going on, we also have infrared and thermal cameras. Even though the hazy moon barely illuminates the ground, she moves with ease and merges perfectly with the background. Until she reveals herself against the sky. But now she knows where they are, and she can hear where they're going. Towards a great collection of nervous guanaco by a lake. Once the moon is completely covered by clouds, the puma has the upper hand. In the darkness, the guanacos are too scared to run far. and she can take her time. At double her weight, this guanaco is far more than she can eat in one sitting. But she does intend to keep the prize all to herself. So when she's had enough, she attempts to conceal it from scavengers. And there are plenty about. If the condors spot it, they would finish it in 20 minutes.
We found a female that got a guanaco. He hunted a guanaco. She ate a little of the guanaco. She moved to a rock close by the rock. She slept there for a few hours. And suddenly, next to us, we saw another puma just walking behind the little hill. What happened now was very intense. Start filming was mad there, and actually I noticed there was a puma we know since she was a calf, and she's very calm, she loves people. So she started walking towards to us, and behind her came a male. She was with a male, with a boyfriend, and the male also did the same thing. He was a huge male, he was a very big animal.
The new female helps herself to the kill, while the male takes a back seat. The hunter is not happy. She comes to investigate the intruders, both of them older and more experienced than herself. The hunter skirts around the edge of her guanaco. Her slow, submissive movements allow the visiting female to feed undisturbed. A blink and a look away demonstrate the hunter has no aggressive intentions. The hunter waits. The male does nothing, yet at twice the weight of the females, he has the power to drive them both off. Pumas have always been thought of as solitary, but rare images like these suggest we have much to learn. Perhaps they know each other, or they're related. A few hundred meters away, there are more pumas. A mother and her 3 almost full-grown cubs are taking a keen interest.
Later, I don't know how many minutes. It was so intense the moment that everything happened so fast that we saw the mother with the 3 calves just coming into the place again, and they just walk faster.
They check the camera trap before we've even had time to set it up. These cats are taking the idea of being comfortable with people a bit further than any of us were expecting. As a filmmaker, you're always trying to create a sense of being there to the viewer, But with wild big cats, it's very rare to actually be there yourself.
And they get to the kill, they start just kind of not fight with our female, 5-year-old female. We call her the sister, and something like telling her, just give me space. I mean, I want to eat, and I don't want you close by. So they started just making some faces and noises, and there's a kind of fighting between them, and until the male just get up.
The mother is concerned for her cubs.
Start walking into the mess around the kill, and he just put an order in everything. He just tell the other cat in his way, just stop bothering. So this is my kill. So everyone stops.
The curious cub stands his ground. The male could easily kill them, yet withholds his full power. Perhaps the cubs are his. To make his point clear, he scent marks the ground and then lets the family feed.
Kind of seeing a scene in Africa, just seeing lions eating a antelope or something.
This is the cat that made the kill. Christian didn't know where she was from, and her relationship with the other cats was a bit more strained. Outnumbered, all she could do was make friends. Perhaps she was trying to make friends with us. I was hoping for intimate images. I wasn't expecting it to be quite this intimate. But the hunter still can't get to her own kill. The smallest cub feels bold enough to have a go at her. The hunter doesn't retaliate. She just gives the cub a clout to show that she could. Eventually, the hunter picks her moment, and she is allowed to feed. Now there are 7 pumas around the guanaco. The cubs could be related to the male, but even then, this is unusual behavior. And the other 2 females could well be complete strangers. Events like this have rarely been captured on film and give us a dramatically different view of the cat we always thought of as a solitary hunter. Is this new behavior, or are pumas just returning to the way they once lived? A few hundred years ago, there were 30 million guanaco on these plains, and early European colonists described prides of pumas feasting on kills. Before they hunted out the guanaco herds, the puma's prey. Like the pumas in the north, they waste nothing and spend a couple of days finishing the kill, leaving us all amazed at the trust they show us. I love the way they reframe the camera trap shot to get us closer still to this normally elusive cat.